Hello and welcome to week 4. It's hard to believe that we're halfway through our session. Next thing you know, Thanksgiving's here next week and then Christmas. Before that though, a couple of important points about what's going on in the class. First thing I want to talk about is APA documentation. Notice in the discussions, people are saying, about how different teachers do it differently. Unfortunately, that happens at every college that I've taught at, and in almost any school, and it happens here at Bryan and Stratton. One thing nice about Bryan and Stratton is they made that APA guide from Bryan and Stratton only. That's what I use. That's the Bible that you need to use for when you do APA documentation. I don't even go by, sometimes it might even be different than what the APA style manual is made out by the American Psychological Association. That's okay. I go by the APA guide from Bryan and Stratton. So have that. You can download that from the main page of ENGL. Have that with you when you do your documentation. When you do your documentation now, this goes into the weekly summary. Things have changed in the 8 years that I've been here. No longer do we have to have you cite what you learn in the lecture, the textbook, or the discussion. You still have to talk about it and give a summary of what you learned from those 3 places, but you don't have to cite it. What you do have to cite is the outside resources, the outside reading that I put in every week. That's what you have to cite. You look at the rubric very carefully that I attach to your weekly summary. It shows in there 10% of your grade for the weekly summary comes from outside sources that you've used and cited and wrote about in your weekly summary. So that's what you want to put in-text citations for and reference citations for at the end. Also, when it comes to your weekly summary, be sure that you read that section that says you talked about how it applies, what you've learned this week in class, how it applies to the real world, either in your job, your career, your life, whatever. That's about 10% of your grade as well. So be sure that you mention that when you talk about what you've learned this week or any week in the weekly summary. I think that covers the most important points. Hopefully you watch this video and you know about the extra credit in the polls I give Monday through Friday now. And that's important to remember because I don't give any extra credit the last 2 weeks of class, going into week 7 and week 7.5. So you won't see any of those polls then. And if you ask me for extra credit, I won't give it to you. That's why I started doing this, give you a chance throughout the session to get that extra credit. And it'll add up eventually. You'll see. I think that's it for now. Have a good week, and I'll talk to you later.